Item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 20th meeting. Could I get a motion and a second for approval?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
parliamentarian, if we have a quorum here, do we need to go through a roll call vote on those items?
You don't have to with a quorum in the room.
All right, that sounds good. I will, instead of asking for a roll call vote, I'll say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion is approved. Item 4 on the regular agenda, 4A, is Tidal Wave Auto Spa conditional use and variance request. Brandy, would you take that over for us, please?
Yes, you bet. Thank you, Brink. So, as Jeff has stated there, this is a conditional use request for a car wash, an automatic car wash in the C3 district. C3 is highway commercial, and then as well as a variance. So we'll take separate action, but I'll just explain it all together because it is for the same property and project. So this site that we're looking at is the previous Kentucky Fried Chicken location along Highway 212 and then to the east of 26th Street Southeast. So for familiarization, Trav's Outfitter is here and Culver's is here. So what Tidal Wave Car Spa is looking to do is redevelop this site completely, and so it'll be an automatic car wash if the conditional use is passed, and then this existing building would be demoed with that. And then the variance, and I'll pull up their site plan there to explain a little easier. Oh gosh. Maybe here. Okay. There we are. So then existing structure was over in this area, if you guys can see my pointer. And then now they'll be building the new structure on the west side of the property. And then this is 26th Street here, and then Highway 212 is up here. So what they're asking the variance for is the property also has double frontage, but in a way triple frontage because there is a street on the south side, but that is a private street. So it's not a public right-of-way, but still they do have 3 streets surrounding the property. So obviously Highway 212, arterial, and then we have 26 that acts as a minor collector in this area. So in the C3 district, the front yard setback is 40 feet, and then the side yard is 20 feet. And so what they're asking for is that the structure is able to have a 20-foot side front yard setback adjacent to 26th Street. And then there's a canopy over here where that will encroach upon that side yard setback to the east. And they are asking, typically it's a 20-foot setback, they're asking for a 10. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
So how does the traffic flow? Would you just describe the traffic flow and how that would work?
Yep. So, well, and actually, if the applicant wants to speak on that, he is online.
I'll open the public hearing and so the applicant can go ahead and answer Mr. K's question.
I do think there's an exhibit map as well that shows the traffic flows.
Perfect. Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, perfect.
And Brandy, Tracy received a text that there may be some team sharing that's not occurring.
Oh,
It appears
Yep.
as though it is on mine, but is it?
I'll definitely share my screen. Yeah,
Share
usually
it
it's
in
covered.
Awkward way there where it's not coming through to everybody for some reason?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. The building that they're talking about is the gray area? Is that going to be the building? Or is that the outside and the white is the building?
Yep, so this is the building, this white. And so they have different facilities in different parts of the country as well. And I think the applicant should speak to it because it's a neat design and what they do with their properties.
Good afternoon. Can y'all hear us?
Yep. Go
All right,
ahead.
I'm Brian Braun with EMC Engineering. Also, I have Dustin McClendon as well with us. So yes, the white portion that y'all see on the screen is the car wash. It's got a tunnel in the center portion, and then it does have a portion in the middle that jets out, which is the equipment room. So this is an automated car wash. You start on the east side, pay through the pay kiosk, circle to the north side, and then loop around and go through the car wash, put it neutral, foot off the brake, slide through, and then you could come out and exit or either use the free vacuums. Those vacuum stalls are covered as well.
So the arrows going north and south in the center, those are parking spaces then, or what is,
Vacuum.
those are all
Yes,
vacuum?
sir.
Those
Yes,
are
sir.
all,
Those are what we would call vacuum stalls. They're wider than parking spaces. They're 13 foot wide, 15 foot on the ends. Those are where you would pull in and use the free vacuum. They've got some free rags and Windex and Armor All types of things you can use as well to wipe down your car and vacuum it out.
Is the exit gated then? Is that what's going across that? Or is that just,
It's not really gated as well. They don't have an arm or anything. It's more of an honor code system. They do want you to pay for the wash and then use the vacuums. Is their business model. They do have a couple of attendants on that try to watch it, but
I think
it's
that
more
might be a
process.
sign. And then
Yes,
obviously,
we got stop sign, stop bar.
but that's in the right of way too. So, do you see my screen there? This black line there, I think that's what Rhonda was asking what that was.
That's a stop bar that would be painted onto the concrete. with
Okay.
Stop sign there as well.
Okay.
It's to stop traffic leaks in the car wash. Make sure they go to a complete stop and, before they just pull out.
Gotcha.
Mr. Chair. Another quick question. I know design is interesting, but I know Georgia is different than South Dakota. Where are you going to be putting snow? Where are we going to be storing snow on site?
There is some green space here.
Where's that?
If you look on the big screen, that.
That area there?
Yep.
Okay.
And then there is somewhat, they'll still have 20 feet on that west side
Okay.
in that setback.
And everything that's going to be facing 26th Street would all be grass?
Yeah, there's
That's correct.
the green space boulevard requirement that 15 feet has to be grass. So, and then I think that they do some landscaping. We seen some concepts where
Is there
nice.
sidewalks required along 26th Street?
they are already there, I believe. But let's check. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any tree planting requirements in the boulevard in the C3?
Yep. So they'll go one every 50 feet. And that's just that's an ordinance requirement. They're just out of the Gateway Overlay District, so there aren't any additional requirements as far as aesthetics go. But like I said, the concepts that we were presented, it's a nice looking facility.
How close is the existing KFC building to the property line on the east?
And that's 30. As also, so that pay kiosk, that canopy, that's what's encroaching. So it won't necessarily be a pole or anything, it's just the canopy extension.
So it's the canopy that's extended over, and that otherwise would be a 25-foot, but it's going to be 10 is what they're asking.
Yep, typically it would be a 20-foot, and then they are asking for 10. And I think that with them spacing it out, you know, a big thing about, you know, what we want to look at for a car wash, which is why we have it come forward as a conditional use, is to make sure that there's sufficient stacking so that you're not getting the line, you know, extending out into the street or other properties like that could be impactful. So, but they have sufficient space.
And just so I'm making sure that I understand the diagram, there is no direct access to Highway 212 or 26th Street from this design?
No.
Thank you.
Brandy, this is Ford. So could you, they're only asking for variances on two sides, the east and the west. Is that correct? Not the north and south?
Right.
All right.
All right, thank you for all those comments. The public hearing is still open. Is there anyone else, either here or online, that would like to speak in favor or against this item? Or does the board have any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion and a second on the conditional use.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use for the use of a car wash on the lot. Is that what it is? It's the car wash, right?
Automatic car
Automatic
wash.
car wash.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second on the conditional use. Is there any further discussion from the board?
This is Ford. I have one more question. They're going to tear down the old KFC building. Is that building new enough so it does not require an asbestos inspection?
We'll have the building official evaluate that when they would look at getting a demo permit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Brandy?
All right, Ford.
Yes.
Oletsky.
Yes.
Dargis Johnson.
Yes.
Brink.
Yes.
Kays.
Yes.
Motion carries. The second item with this application is the variance request for the side yard setbacks. I'll ask for a motion and a second from the board.
Are they separate variances? Are we just going to do them, can we do them as just a single variance for both?
Yeah, we have them listed as a single
They're-
variance
yeah.
for both.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, to approve both variances. I'm going to use a finding that due to the uniqueness of this lot having three frontages, the requirement is somewhat onerous and it's different than you would see in other places in the C3 zone.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other further discussion from any board members? Hearing none, Brandy, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
All right, Kays.
Aye.
Brink.
Yes.
Dargis Johnson.
Yes.
Oletsky.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item 4B, County Fair Foods conditional use requests. Brandy, would you take that over for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Brink. And so once again, we have a 2-for-1 in a way, because we actually, well, I'll describe these with one presentation, and then we'll take two separate actions. So the first one, and they're both for a bar or tavern. And then you guys also will remember that we just recently amended that ordinance, and then that did just pass after the second reading at council on Monday. So then that will come into effect for if a property or business, if they're wanting to do just retail, they're just going to ask council for a on-off sale license, and they will only be selling it to be consumed off premise, then they do not have to come to the Board of Adjustment for a bar or tavern. As in the past, we have had them come forward, and we looked at it. We looked at every location, and then so now it's going to be treated as a permitted use, as it'll be a retail establishment, until they would want to actually have alcohol consumed on premise. Then they would need the bar or tavern conditional use.
So the first, excuse me, Mr. Chair. So theoretically, if they wanted to wait 24 or 25 days, we wouldn't need to be processing this today. They could be going straight to the city council.
Yes, but they actually, for the second one, for Parkside Place, they do need it.
Right.
So we thought we'll just bring them both.
Okay.
And then, so let me get down to that application so I can explain a little better. Oh.
And while Brandy's scrolling to that, I will open the public hearing in case the applicant's here to speak on behalf, or if there's anyone else that's here to speak on behalf or against this item.
Okay, I'll finish my presentation now. So County Fair, it is just for this property. And same, asking for the conditional use for the bar or tavern. This is the site plan of kind of what they're thinking of where they would have their beer wine section in the store and a beer cave. And the applicant is here, so if you guys have further questions on that, he can probably speak better to that. And then the Parkside Place, we're doing the east half of the property, and then that is for their concession stand area. They will be having there will be a little window here. County Fair has traditionally had their burger stand thing. I don't know what their official name is. Snack Shack. And so then now they will be implementing that into the new Parkside Place structure. And then so they'll have like a concessions window. And then just with like the opportunity, obviously there would be some things that they would have, both with this conditional use, they would still have to go to the city council to get the license. And then with this particular, with the Parkside Place one, because it's in the C1 district and there are 0 lot line setbacks, they would have to get a sidewalk cafe permit also from council, which is traditional for establishments downtown just because of that setback that they don't have their property. And that the details of that would have to be ironed out at the time that that permit was applied for. So we won't necessarily have those today unless the applicant can speak more to that. But then they need the bar, tavern, conditional use, so that somebody could consume a beverage on site with the sidewalk cafe permit.
Mr. Chair, do we anticipate the north-south alley in the event that if a new park was to be built, that would be vacated and that we would not be seeing traffic driving through there, abutting where there would be potentially an outdoor cafe?
We haven't. I don't believe that is the intention. And we are going to have to vacate 3rd Street to the east of County Fair. But County Fair does need access here for deliveries. But that is, that is something that, because that it would go half and half. So County Fair would retain half of the alley if it were vacated. But that might not be, that's probably not going to be enough for unloading.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner
3rd
Kears,
Street's going to be vacated?
3rd, that portion. I'll go over there on GIS.
just for clarity, Commissioner Kay, is referring to the east-west alley or the north-south alley?
Well, I'm assuming that I'm assuming if a park is constructed to the east of this facility, you know, how inclined is the city going to be wanting to have truck traffic going north and south on that alley where there will be alcohol sales going out and then people walking into the park if that eventually comes down?
Yeah, the north half of the north-south alley has
is
gone through the vacate process.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
And I
No,
think we did
this-
something with the east-west too. I gotta look.
The south half of the north-south alley does still remain intact.
Okay.
But I don't remember doing anything about vacating Third Street.
We haven't
No.
yet. That'll be
Oh.
as part of the downtown park project, yeah, at a later time.
I
Absolutely.
guess so we wouldn't be anticipating truck traffic running north and south.
Correct.
That was my
correct.
question.
Right. Okay, yeah. And this is the other. So this north-south alley, that was vacated, and then this 10-foot alley was vacated, but that is to the south of the area that's,
But then we had to maintain the easement for the utilities on that east-west one, right?
yep. And then they'll be expanding that.
Just for clarity, the entire east-west alley is intact. Nothing's been vacated there. Only the north half of the north-south alley has been vacated. The south half still is intact. And then the narrow 10-foot alley on the south side of what's now the Parkside Apartments has also been vacated with a public access easement and utility easement placed over it.
And you guys can see that on GIS is updated to show that. So this portion of the alley, the north-south alley, is like Heath just described, but this is just the visual.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I did open the public hearing. Thank you, Brandy, for that good explanation of this application. I did open the public hearing, so if the applicant is here and wishes to speak on this item, please approach the mic and state your name for the record. Or if anyone else is here from the public to speak on behalf or against this item, please feel free to do so. The applicant is here, but unless we have questions, I think Brandy did a really good job explaining it. So is there any questions that any of the board members may have for the applicant? Seeing none, I'll ask one more time, is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on behalf or against this item? Hearing none, I will close the public hearings and ask for a motion and a second for the conditional use for the bar tavern.
For
For
well, you know, on sale, it's just a bar or tavern, but it's for 14 2nd Street Northeast, and that is for the main county fair building.
yeah, correct.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'll take a roll call vote.
All right, Kays,
Aye.
Brink,
Aye.
Dargis Johnson,
Yes.
Aletsky,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, I'll ask for a board consideration for the conditional use request for the bar tavern at 8 2nd Street Northeast. Could I get a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
I do have just one question. I mean, and maybe, so the door to that is going to be facing their parking lot? It would be facing east, so it would be facing the park. Okay, much better, okay.
Would you anticipate initially your sidewalk cafe being on the north side of the building or what?
Would you please approach the mic and speak into it and state your name, just so that everyone else can hear as well, please?
Tyler, County Fair Foods. The Sidewalk Cafe would be on the east side.
East side.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it would be, the window is more to the north of the building, and then the Sidewalk Cafe would kind of come in. On this diagram, it would be a little bit closer towards the south side.
Okay.
And I believe that the structure will actually run all the way up to the north lot line, so they would not be having seating over there.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, once the Parkside Place, that's an old photo.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board members or any other further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Brandy?
All right, Ford,
Yeah.
Aletsky,
Yes.
Dargis Johnson,
Yes.
Brink,
Yes.
Kays.
Yes.
Motion carries. Fifth item on the agenda is open public comment. Brandy, did we receive any?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item 6 is new business. Do you have any new business?
I don't.
Anyone from the board have any new business? Hearing none, move on to item 7, old business. Do we have any old business to discuss?
None that I have.
Anyone from the board have any? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.